Hi there, and welcome to another LMS tutorial. We're going to teach you how to create a template today, and the purpose of this template will be so that you can have essentially a blank page or a lesson template for you to go and create your original content. That's important to a lot of teachers. I know it's very important to me, and it's a way to keep your the look and feel of your lessons or units or class fairly uniform. So we're all familiar with the downloaded OERB template here, and you can see that essentially, they deal in tables too. They have their header. They have another table down here, and essentially a table nested within a table, because this is essentially as a table, this border from here to here, and so on and so forth. So if this works for you, that's great. You can obviously edit these and make these your own too. By all means, it's more or less what you feel comfortable with, and go from there. But when I'm creating my own content, I kind of like to start from a fresh slate, and I like to have my own my own stuff. So we'll go back to content. And we're in our second unit, so I've chosen where I want it to go, and I'm going to go create file. And what I'm going to do is essentially I'm going to go through this as if I was going to create my own first little lesson. So I'm going to type in here template, and that'll set the name of the file for me. And this is where we're going to create our template. So I want a header up here, and I want a two-column table below that header. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a table by clicking Insert Table. I want one column and one row, and essentially that's going to give me a table with only one cell in it. The alignment will set to center because I do want it centered on the page from here to here, and we're going to set it at the width of 100%. This is important. If you do not put the percentage in there, it will default to pixels, and 100 pixels isn't very tall at all. You'll see what 100 pixels is in a second. But the reason why we put percentages in is because when let's say the browser is resized, by the student, by yourself, it stretches and it rearranges things and it makes things fit. You can see down here the caption when I move it over, right, as the cell gets smaller and smaller and smaller, it kind of changes, right? So essentially this is 100%. This is 100%, this is 100%, so on and so forth. So it stretches. For the height here, we're going to set it just at 100 pixels. And essentially, when you set it at 100 pixels, when you scroll through the page, like you shrink it or grow it, you can see that it doesn't change size. It really doesn't. It stays that size. You're just shrinking your window or enlarging it versus horizontally. So that's kind of what I want for the header. Here you can set your border size, and that's all in pixels. And if you click on the Advanced tab, you can set the background color, which I'll do so that you can see what I'm doing. And a border color, we'll just choose a black border color for you. And all you need to do is just double check, make sure that all your settings here are correct. And as you do this, you're bound to make mistakes. The first couple times, I continue to make mistakes, and I have to delete tables and redo them all the time. That's quite all right. You'll become more proficient at it the more you use it, right? Just like anything else. So we'll hit Insert, and there is my template. Now I'm going to insert my title here. So I'm going to type in Insert Lesson Title here, and you notice that it's centered automatically. We didn't set that, it just does it automatically. And I'm going to change the formatting here to heading 1, and I'm going to center it by hitting Align Center. Okay, and now I'm going to create my two-column content page, and essentially I want two columns here. One on the left will be for content, and one on the right will be for additional information or lesson extras. I usually put down goals for the lesson, look fors for the lesson. If you want to put definitions or key terms in there, links, what have you. It's just in a general place. It's what you want to do with it. So we will have to click out of here put your cursor down below or into the blank space where you kind of want it, and we'll insert a table again. And this time we want 2 columns, but we only want 1 row. Okay, we're talking table here. So these are the columns. Cell spacing, cell padding, we're going to leave those. We're going to leave the alignment. Actually, you know what? We'll just set center, and that'll center the alignment. And what I want to do is I want to set the width of the table. This just sets the width of the table. This does not set the width of the cells. So essentially, see over here, that's the table border. If we and see the dash line in there, that dash line that represents the cell that's inside the table. So I still want my table to be exactly that 100%. Right. Now you can set your height here to 100% if you like, but what I do is I leave it blank, and what will happen is you'll end up with a very narrow table, but it will stretch once you start to put content in there, and you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. So I'll click Advanced. I'm going to choose another color here for the table, just so that you can see what we're doing, and we'll just choose something a little bit different. We'll just choose a green, and I'm not going to set a border color. Make sure that this is right. Language code, blah blah blah. Class border. Again, that's the width of the border. All right, I think we're good. See it there. Oh, and there we go. And there we have our table. Now you see what I mean by it being a very narrow table. So the D2L editor is somewhat WYSIWYG, meaning what you see is what you get editor. So we'll just stretch this to make it a little bit better, a little bit bigger for us to start entering content. And like as I said, when you start typing in information in here, I'll put my cursor in there. You can see it over here. When you start to type in information, it will stretch. So the more information you put in, obviously picture, text document, or text, it'll stretch that page out for you. But the one thing you'll notice here is that these cells are both evenly spaced, and we will address that in a second. The second thing you'll notice is that when I clicked in here to type in my content, so I'm gonna, if I typed in my content in here, right, it's centered vertically. I mean, it's justified left, but it's centered vertically. We want that to change. We probably want that up here. Again, it's personal preference, but how to adjust that? It's like this. So you'll click in the cell, and up here there's a little down arrow beside the table, and we'll click on that, and that'll give us a whole bunch of different options. And the option that we have now is table cell properties. This is a table cell, and we want to edit its properties. So we're going to set the alignment to left because we want it justified left. So if you're a Microsoft Word or WordPerfect fan, if you do any type of text editing, you know what I mean by saying justified left. So that means the cursor's all the way to the left. Cell type data, just leave that the way it is. Scope, just leave it the way it is. Vertical alignment, I want it aligned to the top. So you only have 3 options here. If you do bottom, obviously it'll bring the cursor down to the bottom here. Right? If you do top, it's going to bring it to the top right here. Now, here's just a note. If you can set the width of this column right now. You can set it in pixels. You can set it in percent. That's fine. I'm going to leave these blank, and you're going to see exactly why in a second. So we're going to leave these blank, and just so that you can see what we're going to do, I'm going to give this a border color, and I'll just choose a dark blue here. Go from there, right? So you can see the blue, and just a border, and we're all good. So, okay. So I've left this blank, got my border color in there. General, we're all good. All right, so I'll hit update, and you can see now there's my border. And now when I click in the cell, it starts type. It puts in my moves my cursor to the top left. So now as I populate information, it will populate down the cell. So I'm just going to type in here, insert lesson content. here. And what we'll do is we'll give this, we'll edit this as well. Oh, that's a little finicky. And we'll make this heading 2. All right. And you can see here that what's happened is we've edited it, and it's kind of moved my other cell all the way over here to the right. Don't be worried about that. Like we said, we didn't set any widths here for any of the columns, so it's kind of gonna mess things up a little bit here. But we're gonna fix that. So I'm gonna click in here to this cell, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do table cell properties, and what we're going to do is we're going to set the alignment, same thing, to the left, and vertical alignment to the top. And here in the width, this is where things are going to change. I'm going to set the width here to 175 pixels. You can fool around with the size. You can do whatever you want with the size. Here you can set it to 200 pixels. You could, if you set it in percent, it's always going to be a certain percentage of the screen. You have to understand that it's always percentage of the screen. With pixels, it's always going to be a fixed size in terms of pixels. Height, we're not going to touch. Advanced here, I'm going to change the border color. I'm going to give it a nice little red here, or hot pink, or whatever it is. There you go, pink. Give it some contrast so you can see what's going to happen. And I will click on update, and boom, you can see there. So this cell over here we did not define. I know my cursor is hard to see there because of the green, but I'll move my cursor down below here. You can see that I didn't define the width here. I did not define the width for this cell. I defined the width for this one. So this cell is going to constrain to whatever space is left over that this cell is not taking up. So do you see what I mean there? So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to type in here, insert lesson extras. Right, I'm just leaving that there. And highlight that, and we're going to give this heading 2. Same. Sometimes you have to fool around with the heading 1. Sometimes you have to fool around with some of these buttons in here to get the type of font that you want. But essentially, that's it. You have created a template. This is kind of this is a template that I use. Well, something very similar to this, and you can do whatever you like. Now, in your template, if you've got your school logo, you can insert your school logo in here. You can do whatever you want, and that's a template that you can move right across the LMS to any lesson that you use. So we're going to save this as a draft. So that the students don't see it, because again, it's just a template. So hit save as draft. It's going to save it as a template, and voila, it is saved. So it's in our content area, and there it is, template. I created it under second unit. You can kind of move it or create it wherever you want. It's really a moot point. All you really need is just to know that you've created it and you've named it properly. And we're just going to leave it at that, and we're going to always leave it as a draft. To be able to use this, I'm going to give you a quick little lesson on that. If you go to your lesson, let's say I now want to create a lesson in getting to know you. Now I want to use that template. I've got a neat little activity that I want to do with my students, and I'm going to have to create a lesson. So because the OERB doesn't have this lesson, and it's my own homegrown one, so I'll do click on create file, and now you'll see up here it says select a document template. Click on the down arrow, and there you go. You see template. Now you can choose any other, basically any file, any lesson that you've ever done can be used as a template. You're just calling that in. So I'm going to hit template, And there it is. And I'm going to give this a title here, My First Lesson, right? And I'm going to do My First Lesson, right? And I am going to publish this one. And publish. And it says, a file already exists with the name for My First Lesson. Don't worry about that. Actually, that's just coming up for me. It will just create something for you. I'm going to do overwrite existing file. That's just for me. Don't worry about that. And there you go. My First Lesson. It's all in there. And when your kids go click on they're getting to know you or whatever lesson they have, they can see your original content. Again, populate it the way you want. You can create as many tables as you want within this document. You can even nest tables within tables. So in this cell, you can put in another table. That you want to create for first class or second class content, in terms of maybe you have a video you want to put in a table, whatever the case may be. I would encourage you to play around with it at first. Get your own little lesson going, your own little template going. Play around with it for a little while and see where it leads. I mean, if you mess up, there's always the delete key. All right, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson. And if you have any questions, comments, or you would like to have another video done on a specific topic, please feel free to send me a line via board email. All right, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Well, I won't see you, but you'll see my screen. Bye.